facts are something real, that they're more concrete than walls, that they're more important than borders, that facts are what holds our society together. And if we aren't the ones who defend them, then we're really f***ed.
The proposition that is before you is we can solve the fake news problem, okay? So you have one team here that is going to argue that we can indeed solve the fake news problem, and another team that will argue that we cannot solve the fake news problem.
Part of the problem is that tech companies, media companies, fake news, they all rely on the same thing, which is media as an addiction. It matters less if you trust the media on an ad-supported model. What matters is that you're addicted, that you keep coming back, that you keep clicking. That's why I don't think fake news is solvable.
People have learned that smoking can kill you. People have learned not to litter and to recycle. Think about these problems and what it was that diminished them: education. People can learn, and plenty of research has demonstrated this. Fake news is a problem created by the people, for the people, and people will solve it.
Fake news has been around forever. Fake news is the symptom of a diseased industry. Fake news appeared in New York back in the penny press. Google and Facebook have captured nearly all of the revenue since 2000 for the newspaper industry. So the advertising industry has been captured by Google and Facebook. They captured 100% of all new ad revenue in 2016. And so this duopoly has now captured the attention of the populace. And so therefore they have no economic incentive to fix the fake news problem because they profit on it by capturing our attention, putting us into filter bubbles, amplifying those biases, and make good money. Their earnings and profits continue to increase. And so the way to solve the fake news problem is to interrupt the business model, and there's no incentive to do so. The only way to do that would be to interrupt the privacy invading model of ad tech.
For those of you who doubt we can do it, I want to take you back to the spam epidemic of the early 2000s. Back then, nearly 40% of all emails hitting your inbox was spam. Today, fewer than 1 in 1,000 spam messages get through. The spam problem was solved through a combination of users who helped flag it and smart filters by Google and other email service providers that stopped it from getting through. Fake news has strong parallels with spam, suspicious content from suspicious sources. So the same combination of human flagging and smart filtering that solved the spam problem will enable Facebook and other content providers to solve the fake news problem too.
Yet how people find things today is centralized. Discovery has become centralized. Pew estimated last year that 62% of adults get their news from social media. That's primarily from one platform, from Facebook. Never before have we had such centralization of discovery of media. And technology was meant to be a tool, yet in fact it's become a veil. There's an algorithmic veil, and algorithms contain bias. There's a user experience veil, and that sort of blurs the way we view the experience. And with the emergence of augmented reality and artificial intelligence, there's new veils which are emerging. This hall of mirrors is going to be catalyzed by AR and AI, by augmented reality and by artificial intelligence. The world is getting more complex. Objective reality is becoming mediated by technology.
Let me take a next question here.
I think we can all argue that fake news had a huge impact on this election because it, as Melissa mentioned before, it validated people's already preconceived notions, regardless if you even said to your aunt, that's not true. It's like, well, it might as well be. And I feel like that's the response that I've at least been hearing a lot from my own family members too. How do you educate the masses without insulting their intelligence?
That's a really good question. And I think that we are finding that it depends who delivers the message. And one of them is about where the source of information comes from. Who do they trust the most? Who do they respect the most? And it turns out, not surprisingly, that people don't really trust institutions like the media institution or corporations. They would prefer, according to our initial results, that the information come from academics, librarians. So that shows you that's an even greater call for teachers and educators and grown-ups too, to step up.
We should be clear that the reason we're in the moment we're in is maybe something to do with fake news, but really nothing to do with the failure of a segment or some piece of liberal politics that had one part of the culture war, but not all of the culture war, and not as much as we thought. And I actually would argue that our fixation, certainly on the sort of center left, our fixation on the fake news problem, legitimate though it is, and much though it needs to be fixed, our fixation on it is like a technology-enhanced version of the circa 2000 and 2004 insulting stupid people because they voted for Bush. The implication being, right, the hidden implication being, oh, well, if the American people just had the right news and information, they wouldn't have made this choice. Well, what if they would? What if the truth is that the American people are not as progressive as we thought they were?